Hello, and welcome to my final project presentation for CIT 260. My name is Chester Martis, and I will be taking you through the information that I've been asked to share from the second half of the course, starting with static and non-static functions and variables, or methods and variables. In this case, I have under the game control class a public static void method called SaveGame. The static is referring to how this method can be accessed from another method or class without having to create a game control object in order to get to it. I do this in my main menu view, main menu view, where I access this method without having to first call an object of the game control class. Okay. Secondly, there are static variables, such as in my map class, public static final. I have an int variable, and this is static, meaning that every object that is created, every map object that is created, will share this same variable, this rows variable. I made it final in this case in order to, because I don't want the variable to change. I don't want anybody to change it. It's set at 5 and it should stay at 5 for rows and 7 for columns. Okay, moving on to arrays, array lists, and enums, when to use each. So in this case, I've created an array here, a two-dimensional array of locations in my map. This is an array because, once again, it's a set length for each of the dimensions and is not going to be added to or reduced. Also, it has an index, which makes it easy to access each of these locations. If it weren't for the fact that I don't want it to change, you could also update it fairly easily using the index. In this case, I've got a double for loop because it's a two-dimensional array to access each row and each column and create my map. And each location is set with, or each index in the row and column is set with a location. Let's see. So that array that was created there in the map class can be then accessed in my display map function in similar fashion. It's a double for loop to iterate through each index starting at 0 until the total is reached, one at a time, incrementing through each of those. And in this case, outputting to the screen what is in each of those locations, the first character being the 0 index of that array. Okay, next is the array list. In Java, you make a list of a given type. In this case, it's a list of items that I've created, and each of those items is created here. You use the add to add this rope item into the list. And so rope 1 is then added to the list, rope 2 is added to the list, healing potion 1 and 2, and so on. In this case, an array list is used when you want to make it possible to add to or remove from a list after the program has already begun, so that as you move through the game, those items can be taken off of the map or and placed into other places, such as an inventory, player's inventory. Okay, next is the enum, which I created here as a location type. Enums are used primarily as a reference tool, and also I use this as a base of comparison, such as in my map control. I compare the location where I want to go to see if it's a type that is an obstacle, in this case it's a tree. I've made it so that all locations that have a tree or a large tree cannot be accessed by the player, and they have to be the player has to go around those objects. Also, I use these items in the hazard control and reference them here to decide which type of hazard to display, which kind of challenge to give the player. If they land on a space that matches the type of space that is an ROUS, then this is the type of hazard that is presented. With an enum, typically it does have an index, and you can access them through an index place, such as index 0 would be the ROUS, index 1 would be the lightning sand, and so on. But for my purposes, I found it much more explicit and easy to tell what I'm indexing by simply using the name. Okay, so throwing and catching exceptions. As an example, I will use my map control class. Here I have an attempt to move the player to the north. This is where this is caught, or not caught. This is where I throw the exception, a map control exception, with the message, "You can't go that way. There's a huge tree in the way." If there is a tree, and also throw the map control exception, there's a sheer cliff face, it is unscalable, as the message if they are trying to go off of the map, or if they're at the top edge of the map and they try to move north, there will be an exception thrown because the location is not a valid location of the map. This exception is caught in the game menu view, where here. So the try is initiated, map control move north, which I showed you, and then if they try to move north and there is a tree in the way, it will display the message that there's a tree in the way, and they'll have to go around it. Also, if they try to go off the north or the top edge of the map control exception with the message that there's a sheer cliff in the way is caught here by this catch statement. It's handled here in the game menu view class because in all of the input and output on the screen should be handled in the view layer of the program. Alright, character stream versus a byte stream. The character stream is compatible with the Unicode format, allowing more than just the English letter characters. Bytecode is limited to the ASCII characters, and so a byte stream would only allow those characters. Now there are instances where you would want to use a byte stream that I found where it is more efficient to upload and download images and sound files, but if you're going to do any uploading or downloading of code, and especially if you have a chance of needing to upload or download characters that are outside of the ASCII characters, such as in my case with the save function, I ask for a file name to save it to, and if there are characters that are outside of the ASCII characters that someone wants to use for their file name, it would fail. So a Unicode compatible stream is more, not necessarily more efficient, but it's more compatible, and it will have less chance of breaking or having a bug. Alright, so show where I walk through a writing to a file. In my help menu, I added a feature to be able to write the state of the game to a file on the disk. I'm accessing the player, the map, and the location of the player just to set things up to make things easier as I walk through it in my code. I decided that I wanted to put in the saved file a diagram of the map, so I brought that here as well, as I showed you before, walking through each space on the map. In this particular version, I reinstated the item type because I wanted to show that on the map if there is an item type. So I have a try and a catch for going into and writing this file. Just in case it doesn't write correctly, then the message is displayed back to the user that it was not written correctly. Otherwise, I'm using an out file, print line, using the print writer and file path, print writer operation, which is a character stream type of stream. I've set this up with formatting here, item placement. So after the map is printed, I have an item placement, diagram, well, not diagram, but listing of each location, each item, and what is in that location, such as an ROUS, flame spurt, etc. Here are the separations of where the spaces are to be printed, and then going through, once again, each row and each column, accessing the information from those spaces. After that information is pulled up, it's then printed to a file in this out file format. The in file is to get the, where is it? No, this is called from another function, where I've already obtained the file name. So this out file will then print the coordinates, which I've set up. Here is string coordinates equals row and column. The item, which has been loaded with which item is at that location, and the scene, which is the location type at the given location. And then it prints all of those to the file. Such as this. The map is created, and the locations are displayed along with what item is present at each location, unless there is no item, in which case it just prints a line of dashes, and what type of location it is: underbrush, clearing, flame spurt, etc. through the entire map. Okay. Next is running through an example of the game. Alright. Can you survive the fire swamp? Write up. Explanation of the game. Please enter your name. Welcome to the game, Chester. We hope you have a lot of fun. And I added a quote, "We'll never survive." Nonsense. You're only saying that because no one ever has. Begin a new game. And then you can view the map, which displays, this is the only visited space that I've been in so far, so it shows what's there. And my location, you are at second row, first column. There are 34 locations unexplored. I can look around. You see trees, moss, and mud, nothing useful, so there are no items in this location. I can try to take an item, but there are no items available. I can smell to find any clues. I'm only smelling trees, moss, and mud, also nothing useful, which means I have no ROUSs to the north, south, or east of me. If I try to go west, again, I can't go that way. Prince Humperdinck's soldiers will kill me. So, perhaps I'll try moving east. Okay, apparently I've been able to move east. If I look at the map again, I'm in an underbrush location at 2-2. I can look around again. Pile of ashes on the ground and a flask with Miracle Max's cures. I think I will take that. Pick up the potion. I now have one potion. My inventory shows that I have no ropes, no buckets of water, but one healing potion. Okay. Are there any... Oh, there is an ROUS. If I smell, and if I listen, also a popping noise. So I'm likely to run into either an ROUS or flame spurt. Let me try to go east. Oh, I can't go east. There's a tree. I'll have to go south. Flame spurt. Okay, I stand before a potential flame spurt, and I need to figure out the volume of a pyramid. Its base length is 9 feet long, width is 6 feet wide, and height is 2 feet high. So 9 times 6, 54, times 2, 108, and then divide 108 by 3, 36. Let's try 36. And I'm correct. Survive to continue in my attempt to best the fire swamp. Take a look at my map again. I am now... And I did implement a feature that would show the tree after you find it. I want to still try to go east. Another flame spurt. 14 by 14 by 8. Divide that by 3. And I'm left with 522.6. And I will let the computer do its own rounding since I've set that up. Again, survive. Let me look around. Nothing here. I don't know if there was anything in the last place I was because I didn't look. Alright, continuing east. And I run into another flame spurt. They're just lined up here for me. 66 times 3. No, and then divided by 3, so it's going to be 66. Alright, try this again. Where am I now? Finally made it to a clearing with a couple spaces to go. Are there any other objects? Oh, look, bucket. Let me pick up that bucket of water. 1 bucket of water, 1 healing potion. And I suppose I might as well go back to my flame spurt. I have a bucket of water. If I answer incorrectly, incorrect, your clothes are set on fire. Fortunately, you have a bucket of water to douse the flames, and I now have 0 buckets of water remaining. If I double check that in my inventory, it's gone back down to 0. Moving east again, back to my clearing, and east again. Oh no, I'm so close and there's a tree in the way. Alright, let's try going north again. Also a tree to the north. That's very unfortunate. South. Lightning sand. Diameter of a lightning sand pit is 15 feet. What is the maximum distance you'll have to travel to walk around one side of the pit? So, 15 times pi, 3.1415. And then divide that by 2, since I'm only walking halfway around. Okay, 23.56. That's what I'm getting. 23.56. And I survive. Where am I now? I've had to go south at 4, 5, 4th row, 5th position here where the lightning sand is. Are there any objects I can pick up? No. Try to escape. Going east. Look at my map again. 1 space to go. And I hit a lightning sand. And so close to the end, I die because I entered the wrong number. Since you have no rope, you perish in the lightning sand. Game over. And it takes me back to the main menu where I can start a new game, or I could load a game that I had previously played, save the game, or quit. I don't want to save the game because I've just died. I think I will quit. And I'm able to exit the game. There are a few other features, such as actually winning the game, and the help menu displays write-ups on the various features of the game, things that you are able to do, but I believe that is a pretty decent demonstration of the Survive the Fire Swamp game. Thank you for your time and attention, and good night.